Okay, what the heck am I doing here? 1 minute I'm defending myself from a Little Mac wannabe, and now I'm wherever this is.
Huh? Oh. You know, I should be surprised. I should be questioning why you're here, but this place is virtually no logic to it anyway, so stuff like this becomes the norm. At least it's not another Mexican orphan. Or I got a pal that needs disposed of.
A world without logic? That's perfect for me! I'm using Discord, the spirit of chaos and disharmony. This channel will bow down to me! Bow before me, peasant!
A big shot, eh? Well, we'll see how mighty you are when you spend the rest of your time here as a cute little pink-haired girl.
What the heck, I'm anime trash now? Well, at least nobody can call me sexist about my avatar choice anymore. Wait, this is the Danganronpa character. Why didn't I get Junko?
You getting access to the Yas Queen. Please tell another joke. Okay, you know what? To be honest with you, in all seriousness though, my friend who I've just recently met, we have a bit of a problem here. There's only 2 ways to get out of here.
Let me guess, the commentary co-op? Well, it has been a while since I bit the PokeTuber a new one. What's the material? Oh, and you want to hear a joke? This election.
Well, it was either that or death. The orphans all seem to pick the second option. Anyway, there is in fact a video we can cover in that area, so how about we just get this co-op underway?
Okay then, be ready, Ward, cause it's your boy Jonah, so get ready for some commentary chaos!
This is gonna be one of those days. Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Kurumi Toa with another commentary. And today we're dragging along another commentator I met at the hospital, oddly for the same bullet-related injuries caused by doodle tones. That said, why don't you introduce us to the video we're covering there, partner?
The video we'll be covering today is by a PokeTuber by the name who goes by the name of AlmightyMandals. He made a video on what he considers to be the top overpowered Pokemon of Generation 3, and it wasn't that almighty. Oh yes, I still have my chaos powers here.
Anyway, let's get this party started.
Success!
Number 10. Jellicent. Let's get real here for a moment. Were you ever really doubtful that Jellicent was going to be overpowered once you laid eyes upon this glorious mustache?
So having a stash makes it overpowered? Oh gosh, what does that mean for other Pokemon with hair-like features? Pufflepass is going to kill us all!
Here at Mandals Incorporated, we take style very seriously, and Jellicent easily gets an A+ in that department. Seriously though, if you want more than just a sweet stash, Jellicent also earns himself the title of overpowered. Jellicent has a unique typing of Water Ghost, which provides it with a number of nifty things. This includes giving it access to Will-O-Wisp as well as the ability to block Rapid Spin.
So right here, Mandel shows us that he knows the move Will-O-Wisp exists. Keep this in mind, it's going to be important soon.
He also apparently knows that Rapid Spin exists. This will be important later too.
Jellicent's ability to be a spin blocker and keep entry hazards on the field makes it almost a staple Pokemon to have on your team. Jellicent can also be a pest by using Taunt, which is great too. Recover is also a hilariously annoying move that Jellicent has to its name, so that should be abused as well. The Pokemon's attack isn't really anything to write home about, but what Jellicent lacks in physical prowess, it makes up for in obnoxious utility. And it's got a mustache. Did I mention that part yet?
So I noticed that despite you praising Jellicent up to this point and saying how it's so overpowered, you fail to bring up any of its weaknesses and counters. Well, let's see. In terms of Pokemon Black and White alone, the one to bring up is Galvantula, who outspeeds it and pretty much sends it packing with Thunderbolt, or, you know, if you're unfortunate enough to deal with one with Compound Eyes, the always terrifying Thunder.
And now that I think about it, you never thought of Jellicent's abilities. Jellicent gets Coast Body, which allows it to disable a move that hits it with physical contact, and Water Absorb, which allows it to heal damage from water-type moves. You know what move was popular in Generation 5? Scald! You could have easily mentioned this, but you didn't.
Number 9. Chandelure. I know what you're thinking. Mandals, come on, how could a Chandelier Pokemon possibly be overpowered? Good question, viewer, but the answer to that is simple. Chandelure is an absolute bulldozer in terms of special attack. And after all, the Pokemon does absorb souls by hypnotizing targets with its flames, so naturally you'd assume it could deal some damage. Unfortunately, special attack is kinda where Chandelure's strengths end, since its other stats are kinda meh. However, a 145 base special attack more than makes up for that, and you'd be a fool not to be spooked by that. Chandelure also has a sweet immunity to fire, fighting, and normal moves. Honestly though, at the end of the day, Chandelure's best asset is the Pokemon's ability to knock out opponents ludicrously fast. And your pal Chandelure really becomes a threat once you throw a Choice Scarf into the equation. Once you do that, I guarantee you'll have full faith in Chandelure and you'll be convinced that the Pokemon was indeed overpowered.
Oh yeah, I'm sure nothing can touch Chandelure if you have Choice Scarf. He's really got us beat there. I have no idea what Pokemon is set up against what you're describing. Well, I mean, there is one I can think of. Yeah, this thing right here. Perfect counter to your little Chandelier. Rips it into pieces like it's his last resort. Especially with Speed Boost, Protect, Waterfall, Crunch, Earthquake.
Don't forget, Chrome, Stamina was popular in Generation 5 too, and it got the move Aqua Jet, which was Stab. Also don't forget all the ghost types that had the move Shadow Sneak. Its ignorance is so bad, I want to hang myself with a...
I think I died a little on the inside.
Hey kids, do you like biological warfare?
No!
Reuniclus does too! This bulbous bio-blob blasts away opposing Pokemon with intense force. Don't let its happy face and cushiony, huggable appearance fool you. Reuniclus will take you out the minute you let your guard down. This is of course thanks to the Pokemon's 125 base special attack. And remember how I said the Pokemon looked cushiony? Well, it isn't half bad at absorbing damage with that HP stat, so I suppose the Pokemon's appearance makes quite a bit of sense. Unfortunately, this also means that since the Pokemon looks like molasses, it tends to move at that kind of speed too. But this was also during a time where Trick Room was still somewhat relevant, and Reuniclus has full access to that move. This move makes its pitiful 30 base speed feel a million times more potent. Reuniclus also has the ability Magic Guard, which is flat out an amazing thing to have. Its move pool is also boundless, and on that note, I'm pretty sure you know why this thing should be feared.
Yeah, that's great and all, but there are several dark types that could wipe the floor with Reuniclus even with Trick Room active. Especially those who actually benefit from said Trick Room themselves, like, oh I don't know, Crawdaunt or Cacturn.
Also, don't forget Shadow Sneak is still a popular move. And for a Pokemon that's so good at sweeping, hey Chrome, you wanna tell him what the base accuracy of Focus Blast is? You know, the move that's good at dealing its main weakness.
Oh, you mean the move with 70% accuracy, which translates basically into, lol, you're never gonna hit them in that move, cause fuck you.
Yep, that move. Also, he mentions Magic Guard in this entry, but doesn't explain what it does. Great job, 7.8 out of 10 IGN, too much failure. Kind of like Kurome's taste in waifus.
Number 7, Bisharp. It shouldn't take long for you to take a gander at this Pokemon and immediately think to yourself, huh, yeah, that thing, it looks a little overpowered. And would you expect less from a Pokemon that would impale you instantly if you tried to give it a big ol' hug? Despite Bisharp looking like he would put the entire Attack on Titan cast to shame, the Pokemon also works quite well mechanically. First off, Steel type, baby. It's debatably one of the best types to have due to its resistances, and Bisharp's got it. Next up, boom, Attack. He's got it. This allows it to rip apart opponents pro-Genji style with more moves than I care to count. Notable ones are Iron Head, Sword Stance, and the devious Sucker Punch. And if you want to be even more of a devious little you can set up Substitute at the right time to get a few Sword Stances off. And then, when the other Pokemon doesn't expect it, BAM! Sucker Punch right to the Pokeballs. Bisharp does fight dirty, but it's also undeniably effective.
Again, you fail to bring up the most obvious of counters. A fighting type that can withstand Sucker Punch, which is basically most of them, will almost one-hit KO it with a good fighting type attack, so I don't see where you get the impression something so deathly afraid of a goddamn fist is overpowered.
Gosh dang it, Kuroma, do you want to call the One Punch Man fans right to us? And also, Sucker Punch? Didn't he bring up a move earlier in this video to counteract that?
Giving it access to Will-O-Wisp.
Oh yeah, something like that.
Burning Bisharp with half its attacks, rendering it useless. I mean, sure, you could put a Lumberry on it, but one, you didn't mention that, and two, why would you run anything on it but Focus Sash? Wait, so its main weakness is spitting fire? Hey Kuroma, you know what a rap at all?
Do I look like Doodle Tones around you?
No, you look like a demented little girl with swastikas for eyes. So, close enough. Oh yeah, and also Almighty, try again.
Here comes another lawsuit.
Number 6. Conkeldurr. If you're a fan of the rippling biceps and manliness of Machamp, chances are you also fancy yourself a Conkeldurr. This testosterone-fueled madhouse could probably punch this universe and send it spiraling out of existence. Yeah, we're talking that manly. Most fighters smash you into concrete, but Conkeldurr? Screw that, he smashes you with the concrete. How's he capable of this, you might ask? Well, I'm sure it has something to do with that godly 140 base attack. Hey, he's gotta lift those columns somehow, dude. Also, you'd think a boring old fighting type like this would have limited access to moves, right?
Wrong.
Of course, he comes with all of your bread and butter fighting moves like Mach Punch and Drain Punch. However, the Pokemon can also use moves like Earthquake, Stone Edge, and all of the elemental punches. You know, typical god stuff. Conkeldurr's slow, but can outspeed you with Mach Punch. It's kinda fragile, but can heal with Drain Punch. This monster absolutely screams meta, and I rest my case.
Don't rest just yet, Mandel, because there's a glaring issue with Conkeldurr and you should know it. It's pretty strong attack-wise, yeah, but it's slow as hell, meaning you need to use Mach Punch in its moveset. And while you did mention Mach Punch, here's the problem with it. It's not a strong move, honestly. If you're face-to-face with a Psychic type like Gothitelle or Reniclus, they can take that Mach Punch just fine and send your ass into oblivion with a Psychic move. Mind over matter, as they say.
The only way to do more damage then would be to rely on Guts. And even then, that'd be a problem, because in Generation 5, Burn did more damage than it did in Generation 7 when it got nerfed. And also, Conkeldurr relies only on physical moves, so good luck against any Pokemon with a Rocky Helmet. Oh, hey there, Scummy! Captured any kids today?
Number 5. Haxorus. 3 evolution stage dragon-type Pokemon. Practically every generation has got them, but the question is Gen 5's edition any good? Good God, yes! I know it's probably crazy at this point to introduce a Pokemon with an even higher base attack, but I've got one for you. Haxorus sports a whopping 147, which is just disgustingly good. And since dragon moves are some of the best to begin with, a stab Haxorus is capable of pretty much one-hitting anything it darn well pleases. This does, however, mean the Pokemon has to outspeed the opposition, but this isn't incredibly hard to do. A 97 base speed is solid, and though you might have to build Haxorus as a glass cannon, I say it's worth it with these numbers. I've gotta say, I just love Pokemon that are strong for these reasons. They're just not hard to figure out. Pick attacks that have high damage numbers attached to them, give them a good item, and finally unleash the pain. What, did you expect something different from a Pokemon with blades for a face?
I'll admit you're pretty accurate with the strong points of Haxorus pre-Gen 6, but there is one little thing I'd like to point to your attention that was, especially in Generation 5, the biggest threat to it, and fellow dragons. Pre-nerfed Heal/Blizzard combo.
Number 4. Ferrothorn. Most people would probably label this Pokemon as a Forretress clone, but I'm here to say no! No. I love this spiky menace. Don't you just want to hug it? Okay, bad example. Maybe this thing isn't that huggable, but that's also kind of the point. Ferrothorn is built for giving anti-hugs. No Pokemon wants to touch this thing, and that, my friends, is exactly Ferrothorn's winning strategy. If a Pokemon was to make physical contact with this bladed menace, it'd lose a chunk of its own health due to Ferrothorn's iron barbs. And it'd lose even more health if Ferrothorn was sporting a Rocky Helmet. On top of this, thanks to Ferrothorn's immense defenses, in some cases the attacker will end up taking more damage than Ferrothorn itself, especially when you consider the fact that it has Stealth Rocks and Spikes. This right here is a true vampire Pokemon.
There is one simple way of defeating a Ferrothorn without worrying about any of that nasty damage from Iron Barbs and Rocky Helmet. How, you may ask? Simple. You simply... Burn to the ground! 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 Seriously though, one special fire attack and this thing is toast.
And then there's the ability to set up Pokemon. Ferrothorn gets access to Spikes, Stealth Rock, and Leech Seed, true, they can all be countered. Stealth Rock and Spike will be replaced with Defog or Magic Bouncing ability, and Leech Seed by having playing with Liquid Ooze, or just by putting a Grass type on the field.
Number 3. Volcarona. There are so many good things that Volcarona has going for it. The first being the fact that, frankly, the Pokedex makes this guy sound like a god. Statements such as, it is said that Volcarona's fire provided a replacement for the sun, and thought to be an embodiment of the sun, have already got me interested in the Pokemon. Next, it's the first bug fire type, and pulls off this combo really well. Okay, that's not an important detail, but it's dope, alright?
Actually, the typing's really important here if you pay attention. Since you're saying the Sun God bug here is overpowered, its typing spells out a perfect counter for you to use against it. Rock-type Pokemon. Yeah, that is in fact important to the argument.
Even putting aside the core weakness to rock, there's bad weaknesses to water and flying. So really it is an easy bug to squish. just like Kuromi's dreams.
There are no dreams. Only your nightmares.
Also, speaking of typing, what can it do against fire types? Fiery Dance and Giga Drain will be useful against them. Fire types can't be burnt by Flame Body. The best move it has against them is Hurricane, and it is terrible accuracy.
Success!
Number 2, Excadrill. Excadrill is probably the only non-legendary Gen 5 Pokemon that was seen as so strong that it was banished to the fabled Uber tier. You know, the place where the competitive community sticks Pokemon that have moves and stats that make them a completely unfair pick. And I don't know about you, but for me, unfair is just another word for overpowered. And Jiminy Christmas, Excadrill really is overpowered. This is partly due to the Pokemon receiving the blessing that is the Steel type, but that's obviously not the only reason. Excadrill is also blessed with Rapid Spin and immunity to poison and a ludicrous speed stat during sandstorms. This Pokemon is decently fast on its own, but if you have an ally whip up a sandstorm, Excadrill's Sand Rush ability kicks in and the Pokemon's speed doubles.
Hey, you know what's funny? The footage here used basically shows one of the best counters to Excadrill if it was used by a higher level Sock. Sturdy. Allows it to survive whatever Excadrill threw at it and hit back with a dreaded weakness to all Steel types, a physical fighting move like close combat. There you go, one little counter to the big bad Excadrill for you.
Success!
A crafty bugger that can do all sorts of annoying things with its huge defense stat.
Wait. That's it. It has a good defense stat. Hey, come on, man, you wanna inform the kids at home about its great ability before I turn this guy into a ghost?
So I heard you want to attack this Pokemon head on. Well, that's fine, but I hope the Pokemon didn't depend on its ability to be useful to you, because now it's changed to Mummy! That's right, your ability gets changed when you physically touch this thing to an almost useless ability that you can only get rid of by switching out or being hit with a physical attack by your opponent's next Pokemon.
Got a Pokemon with Sheer Force? Boom! Gone! Got a Pokemon like Shedinja annoying you with its ability? Boom! Gone! All these abilities will be rendered useless if you just give us all your money! I mean money!
This is where we'll head to our final thoughts, since honestly his segment on Hydreigon is pretty much correct in that there's very few solid counters to it other than something like Conkeldurr. Well, my dear Jonah, how about you start us off?
First off, don't call me dear. Second, remember, you're still the female dog in this relationship. Anyway, Almighty, your video was bad. Sometimes you contradicted yourself. Other times you left out information that actually would have helped your points that you did in the Jellicent segment. And in the end, I really have no idea what made these Pokemon overpowered, and for this was a video just made to get views. Anyway, those are my final thoughts. What does my idiot partner have to say?
Well, all I'll say is this, you made no effort into looking into potential counters to the Pokemon you presented, or at the very least didn't show us anything of the sort, which is the biggest thing that hurt this entire video. Also, the lack of Electros even as an honorable mention depresses me, given how it doesn't have any weaknesses other than being hit with Smackdown. Well, with all that said, I guess you can have that ugly MLP trash form of yours back.
Huzzah! I'm back, baby! Although I was kinda getting used to that form. Maybe I can take it again later. Well, assuming you don't build a wall, that is.
Funny story about the whole getting out of here thing.
Wait. What?
Getting out of here by doing a co-op? Did you really think something that mundane would be your key to getting out of here?
So, how do I get out of here then?
I did tell you before.
Well, joke's on you. You can't kill me because 1, I'm immortal, and 2, I was a hologram all along.
Well, that is in fact blood I see spilling out of your kneecap.
Ow. Okay, so I'm not a hologram, but you still can't kill me here.
I am going to put a bullet through you for every little remark you made about me up to this point.
That's going to be a lot of bullet holes.
I know.
Ow. 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 My leg.